Hello, everyone. All right, so go ahead and get this shit going. So, I'm wanting to, and forgive me for the test thing in the chat. I had resized and I wanted to make sure that the text box for the chat shown on here was properly sized. Anywho, Laurier or Laurier, I don't fucking know. It's up in Canada, so it could be either one. Um, University, if you're unfamiliar with it, um, so an audio leak happened. One of the teaching assistants there showed 5 minutes of a Jordan Peterson clip uh, from a interview slash debate that he was on. And she was doing it in a neutral way, and several of the other professors did not like that. And so they pulled her into basically a tribunal. Um, but the thing is, she ended up recording the whole thing and then ended up leaking or releasing the recorded audio. Well, now this university is finding itself in some fucking hot water. And so the president of the university decided to make a video. Let's go ahead and see how the president of the university is handling this situation. Continue the talk afterward.
Wilfrid Laurier University stands for and
Sorry about that. Gonna rewind it so that way you can hear all of it.
I want to make a very clear statement about freedom of expression at Laurier. Wilfrid Laurier University stands for and supports freedom of expression and academic freedom, unequivocally. Freedom of expression is core to our values. We live it in our classrooms, in our lecture halls, and in the conversations we have with our students and faculty each and every day. And it's been that way for 100 years. At Laurier, freedom of expression means classrooms that are intellectually challenging. They are filled with critical analysis, civil discourse, and diverse perspectives and identities. It also means classrooms where people may experience discomfort hearing ideas they don't agree with.
And that's exactly what happened here. And how was it handled? Oh, the TA that brought this up in a neutral way was chastised for it, and to the point of crying. In fact, the link to this video that I'm showing you right now is down in the low bar, and so is the original leaked audio. It's 40 minutes of a fucking train wreck. I'm warning you now, it'll make you sick to your fucking stomach. They actually make this TA that was actually being very fair break down into tears. Because there was fear there. I'm sure there was some fucking anger there. There was definitely some confusion. It was a definite wake-up call for this TA. Hopefully this TA doesn't give up teaching, because it's definitely in the better interest that people like this continue to teach. This cunt on the screen, however, should not have her job anymore. And I'll explain why after the video is done.
But understand someone's right to hold them. It does not mean intolerance. And it does not mean hate. Recently, our university's century-old commitment to freedom of expression was called into question based on a meeting with one of our student teaching.
All right. This was not a meeting. I highly recommend that you go ahead and watch that video if you want to know what's going on here, what this is all about. I highly recommend it. Other YouTubers, Bearing, Sargon of Akkad, as well as many others, but those two are the most prominent that I can think of right now, have gone ahead and made videos on this. And there's a lot more that this bitch is not fucking talking about. She kept this video exceedingly fucking short on such a massive fucking problem. This is strictly a PR move. I'm telling you right the fuck now, this is nothing more than a PR move. What she's saying right now are empty words, empty platitudes, and we'll go ahead and get into it again. We'll go ahead and rewatch it again with my full commentary. But let's go ahead and finish this off.
Assistance. People are angry, and justifiably so. I was shocked after hearing that conversation. It does not represent the ethos or the practice of this university. As a professor and the leader of this university, freedom of expression is central to my own values. I will continue to listen to what people have to say and take this as an opportunity for Laurier to show leadership on an issue that is faced by universities across Canada and by society in general.
All right, so transition back for a second. All right, now the issue here, and I know that no one's gonna really be in the chat on this live stream since it's so early in the morning and it's in the middle of the week. But the thing is with this, what ended up happening was we don't even know how many students complained about this. It might have been just one fucking student that can't handle anything. It might have been just one special little snowflake in the class that came forward, and then these people decided to spring into action because can't have one special snowflake with hurt fucking feelers or feeling uncomfortable in a fucking learning environment like a university. Because, well, in the audio, there was one thing that really stood out to me, and it was the TA sat there and mentioned that when you're 18, you're an adult. And the person that was talking right before her was saying that these students are very young students and that this was not appropriate to have in these classes. And she said, wait, they're 18. They're adults. The response was, yes, but they're very young adults. You know what the term young adult has typically been used to describe? Young teenagers, kids in high school, that don't have a full say over their life, that don't have that autonomy. They are actively trying to say that when you're 18, you're not quite an adult yet. Which is absolute bullshit. I'm sorry. Once you're 18, and this applies strictly to guys, but once you're 18, you have to sign up for the draft. You have to sign up for selective service. If you have to sign up for selective service, then that means you are an adult. Period. End of story. Once you have to take on adult responsibility, you are an adult. And you should be treated as such, because the rest of the world is not going to hold its punches on you. But the thing is let's go ahead and go back into this for a second.
Stands for and supports freedom of expression and academic freedom unequivocally.
All right. Listen to what she said there. She says that they support freedom of speech and academic freedom unequivocally.
Freedom of expression is core to our values.
Freedom of expression is core to their values.
We live it in our classrooms, in our lecture halls, and in the conversations we have with our students and faculty each and every day.
Except in this instance, oh wait, she's wanting us to listen and believe. She's wanting us to think that this is a one-off thing, that this isn't indicative of the general attitude at this university. I'm going to tell you right now, this attitude is indicative of every fucking liberal university out there, which is damn near all of them. You might be able to get away from it in trade schools because they don't really have classes that really allow for too much of stuff like this unless you're talking about nursing. But that's a completely different story for a completely different time.
And it's been that way for 100 years.
Oh, now we're gonna bring up how something being around for a long fucking time gives it fucking value. Now we're gonna go ahead and sit there and say, oh yeah, well it's been around for 100 years, so I mean, that means there's gotta be some merit there, right? When these very same people, and I'm pretty much willing to guarantee that this bitch right here is one of those ones that sat there and was bitching and complaining about how women had been treated over the past 100 years. Something is telling me that that is a thing here.
At Laurier, freedom of expression means classrooms that are intellectually challenging.
Unless you have a 5-minute clip of Jordan Peterson, a tenured professor at another university, speaking on a national paid program in a debate.
They are filled with critical analysis.
Except whenever the critical analysis is on wrongthink, at which point it's nothing but being critical. You're not allowed to remain neutral and allow people to critically analyze on their own. No. You gotta shovelware that shit into their brain. That this is not how you should think, and if you think like this, if you think anything remotely close to it, there's something wrong with you, and you and you deserve to be punished for it.
Civil discourse and diverse perspectives and identities.
Unless that civil discourse goes against the leftist mantra.
It also means classrooms where people may experience discomfort hearing ideas they don't agree with.
And then subsequently get the TA involved in a fucking tribunal headed up by 3 very liberal, very fucking one-sided, very partisan individuals that are out on a witch hunt and can't have any level of dissent in their school.
But understand someone's right to hold them.
Unless you have conservative views, then you have no rights.
It does not mean intolerance. And it does not mean hate.
Unless you're a leftist, then you can be as intolerant and hateful as you want until you get caught. And then you have to issue a half-assed apology or a non-apology to keep your job.
Recently, our university's century-old commitment to freedom of expression was called into question.
It wasn't called into question. No. That would be people going, are they really for freedom of speech? No. It wasn't called into question. It was outright denied. It said, if this can happen on your campus, if this can happen under your watch, you are not about freedom of speech in any way, shape, or form. So no, it wasn't called into question. It was outright denied based off of the empirical evidence that we have.
Based on a meeting with one of our student teaching assistants.
Based off of a tribunal in a witch hunt.
People are angry, and justifiably so.
Yeah, people are angry. Because now it's just one more example of blatant indoctrination being pushed in college campuses and university campuses instead of the students actually getting an education and learning critical thought. They're not learning critical thought. They're being taught what to think. There's a big difference. The TA misunderstood the memo, apparently. Either that or didn't get the memo. That teaching critical thought and actually having critical discussions and actually presenting arguments from both sides isn't the way things are done in universities anymore.
I was shocked after hearing that conversation.
Because that conversation wasn't supposed to go outside of those doors. It's supposed to be kept in the dark. It's supposed to be kept away from the public so the public doesn't see what's going on here.
It does not represent the ethos or the practice of this university.
Except for the fact that it does. It's just, it doesn't represent it in the way that you want it to be represented. Because this represented it in the most accurate way. Hey, Black Sand, how's it going?
As a professor and the leader of this university, freedom of expression is central to my own values.
When she's talking out in the public. But in the confines of her mind, she's ripping herself apart right now for uttering those words. She probably went home and whipped herself in the back several times.
I will continue to listen to what people have to say and take this as an opportunity for Laurier to show leadership on an issue that is faced by universities across Canada and by society in general.
By society in general? You mean leftist cancer? What, you're going to sit there and chemo? You and 3/4 of your staff? Really? I doubt that. So when are you scheduling your company trip to fucking to the nearest radioactive site? When? I want to know. So. And, you know, the thing is I was actually expecting at this point to scroll down and see that the comments were disabled. I was waiting for it. I was pleasantly surprised, however. They kept the comments up. It's almost like they realize that just maybe, shutting down the comments would have made that last little bit of her disingenuous speech actively be disingenuous on its face. Well, they're probably wishing she hadn't said that last part, because it's bad. Here's a little preview of it. Look at that like to dislike ratio. That is abysmal. Look at how many views there are. About 8,000 views. So that means pretty much 1 in 8 people thumbs down to this shit. Let's go ahead and take a look at the comments, shall we? This will be fun. Oh yeah, I meant to leave a like on this one. So, you have failed education, you have failed your students, you have failed your society. Shame on you. 658 likes on that comment. Over 20 times the likes that this video had. Very basic, very benign comment. Invite Peterson or lose the PR war. Those are your only 2 options. Very fucking true. 393 likes. So over 10 times as many likes on this comment than they had up there. This is blatantly incompetent administration trying to run damage control. Get your postmodernists under control or someone else will do it for you. Full stop. Damn. If you're committed to freedom of expression, fire every single person that was present and took part in harassing that girl. End the shady underground tribunals. This is extreme ideological corruption and radical left bias. This is an extremely hostile work environment. I cannot imagine the progressive indoctrination that goes on in that campus. Reform your school. Or shut it down. You're a living Kafka trap. Yeah, pretty much. Does it really? Not only did you have 3 prominent staff tell a student she failed at indoctrination, but in his apology, he basically said he had to get better at hiding it. Exactly. No matter the amount of damage control you do, your university has expressed exactly what they think of freedom of expression is, and thankfully it was recorded. I'm sure stuff like this happens all the time in other universities, but no one would know because it's done in the same manner that your university tried to do it. Take them in an office and berate them for being hateful. I suggest to anyone to record their conversations in future so shit like this can be exposed and words cannot be twisted. Alright, I'm going to sound like Angry MGTOW here for a second. Fucking told you. I put out a video saying that cameras and recorders are social condoms. You need to have one with you at all times. Don't be afraid to sit there and record shit on your phone to cover your ass. This is a prime example of it. But you guys can go ahead and go here. But almost all of these comments, almost all of them are negative. And mocking. And look, see, this right here is what we need to fucking do. This right here. Us as a society, we need to do this. Boom. My daughter and I have taken Laurier off her university shortlist for this reason plus one more. Yeah, exactly. That's what we need to do. We need to stop sending kids to these fucking schools. We need to sit there and look at them, and if they have one of these schools listed on a school that they're planning on putting our shit into, it's all like, oh, so how are you going to pay for that? Because I want nothing in it. If you're going to go somewhere to be indoctrinated, I'm not paying for it. And how's it going, Metallica? So yeah. That's the situation that we're in. Now, to the people that are watching right now that are in the chat, what do you guys think? Do you think that anyone should trust that school again? Ever? I'm asking this before I bring something else up. While you guys are typing, if you're going to type, I'm going to go ahead and roll myself a cancer stick. Because this might give me cancer, but at least it won't give me liberalism. LOL, no way. Fire the lot of them. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking myself. Now, the reason why I asked that question beforehand was because I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know something else. They're starting basically a investigation party on the campus. Guess what? Because it's to investigate stuff like this, including this incident. Guess what? One of the people that was caught on the recording is part of it. Yeah, that's not a conflict of interest. That's going to be really fucking effective. And they're getting a whole razz of shit based off of that as well. I recommend you go ahead, go over and watch Bearing's videos on this. He also has a link to Sargon's video and someone else. I forget who it is. But yeah, no, they are actively putting one of those people that was involved in this, that's one of the perpetrators in this, on the I cannot say that word right now. Fuck it. On the investigation team. That's a problem. And so the thing is yeah, when we go ahead and we look at these situations, we need to keep in mind that all they're saying here is that they're sorry that they got caught. They'll try harder to not get caught the next time. They're going to try to get better at keeping this shit under the radar. And here's the funniest part about this. This actually has to do with that Bill C-16 bullshit up in Canada. That's where all this was based out of. That's where the tribunal was drawing its power from. Now, who was it that said that this was how Bill C-16 was going to be used? I can't remember. Their name's on the tip of my tongue. I just. He's a tenured professor at a university, and he really made a name for himself for speaking out against Bill C-16. He was previously shown in a classroom that resulted in this exact same situation. What's his name? Oh my God! Yeah, exactly. They proved him right. They proved Peterson right. He said that Bill C-16 was going to be used in a tyrannical way. And everyone told him, well, there's no way that it could be used like that. Want to try again? Because here it is. Front and center. This is the problem with these types of laws. They can be used to take completely innocent behavior or even constructive behavior and punish it or to quash it. Laws like this give way to tyranny. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm not going to really go into it on this stream. I'll probably do another stream. You guys need to remind me in Discord or whatever to go ahead and do this next live stream. If I forget. I do not think that tenure should be a thing. At no point should you have a guarantee of a job. It's the same thing as with it's the same situation as with unions. I hate unions. I despise them. I despise the very idea of unions. Because there was no way in the world that they weren't going to get corrupted. I'll just say that right now. I'll do another stream on that later. But this college or university it definitely should see a drastic drop in student enrollment. Because that's the only way that these colleges get the message. And it takes a massive bleed off. So the thing is this university needs to get hit hard, and it needs to get hit fast. Quite frankly, if I was a Canadian citizen and I heard about this and I had a kid going to that school, I'd look at my kid and go, you have until the end of the semester to find a college to transfer to. Because you are no longer going to this college, not on my dime. My kid would not have a fucking choice in it. But that's the only way that these universities will learn is that when shit like this happens, it needs to be so detrimental to them that they start actively taking steps to prevent this shit. Because these universities, the only thing they truly care about is money. Is getting that tuition. It's the only thing they care about. But yeah, I highly recommend you guys go ahead and go and watch Bearing's videos on this. He's a lot more funny about it than me. I'm being a little more straight edge about it at this point. And I'm trying to keep my anger down. That's one of the reasons why I took a little bit of a break, was because I was constantly so spun up that it was starting to affect my health a little bit. And it was getting really difficult for me to... It was getting a little difficult for me to kind of get out of that spun up stage. Like, I was actively starting to have problems sleeping because I just couldn't stop my brain. I couldn't calm down. And so that's the reason why I took such a long break. I'm sorry about that, guys. I do apologize. But I needed to go ahead and do it. But yeah, as you can see, I'm back in the saddle. And oh my god, what a thing to come back on. I actually have a couple of streams planned now. So, expect to be hearing from me on a more normal schedule again. But yeah, so to anyone who's watching after the fact, fire off down in the comments. What do you think of this situation? You know? Oh, thanks, Black Sand. No, it was just, it was, the lack of sleep was absolutely murdering my immune system. I mean, I got sick 3 times in a row, and that's not like me. I'm one of those people, I get sick, and then I don't get sick again for like half a year. But I ended up getting hit 3 times back to back to back. But yeah, if you're listening after the fact, go ahead, let us know what's going on down in the comments. You know, chime in, get the discussion going. Go ahead, share this video, share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, that sort of thing, because we need to get this shit out there, at least while we can. We need to start spreading this shit far and wide. I'm actually probably going to go ahead and start up a Twitter account of my own. As much as I fucking want to cut my wrist for even having to say that. So that way I can go ahead and let people who use Twitter know when I'm going live. I can go ahead and tweet the shit out. Because as much as I like using Discord, I know that it's not as accessible as something like Twitter. I might start up a separate Facebook account for my channel for the 5 minutes that it'll be up. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and let y'all know if I do go ahead and start those things up. I'll go ahead and make a video, and I'll have it to where it's linked to my account, so you guys can go ahead and link in, follow, whatever. I figured that would also be a way of kind of growing the channel a little bit more and get more of this word out to more people. But yeah, alright, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you, everyone who came, for coming. As always, appreciate the support. And I'll talk to y'all later. Have yourselves a great day. Peace.